Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Leo. If Leo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Okay, so Leo, tonight we have, the Hanged Man, which is not a bad sign. Don't worry about it. I know, all the scary ones that they have in movies and stuff. It's the Hanged Man, it's the Death card, the Tower, sometimes the Lovers, you know. But the Hanged Man, for me, I love seeing it because it is a reminder that it is time to quit something, to sacrifice something, to let go of that which does not serve us any longer. Okay? All right, let's go. I'm going to say knock, 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 and we're going to take a look and see what these tea leaves are going to tell us. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. Also, if you want to hit the like button or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Absolutely. Okay. This one's funny. This one reminds me of a person who is kind of like bending over to pick something up, or they're doing some gardening. Their head would be right here. Their arm is over here. They're kind of, bent forward. And let's see, there we go. An animal jumping right on the back. Now, if you have a cat, especially one that does not respect personal space, right? You maybe have had a cat jump on your back. I know if I am like cleaning something on the floor, picking something up, and one of my cats, both of them, one's almost 17. He's an old guy. He'll still jump on my back. But my little one, her name is TT. You might remember her. She used to be in the readings all the time. She's the little hairless cat. Oh boy, she will jump right on you. She doesn't even care if you're bent over. She'll just jump right on your back. But this reminds me of having, like an animal or a child or somebody around who is just constantly kind of getting in the mix of what you're doing. Okay? I feel like this is something that you find quite endearing. Right? I don't think that this is a problem where you're just like annoyed, get off of me, don't touch me, and sometimes, listen, we can feel like that, especially if you're getting touched out. If you don't know what that means, it's when you have young children, especially if they are nursing. I nursed my daughter for 3 years, and let me tell you, sometimes you just get to that point where you don't want anybody touching you, not even the cats. Don't sit on me. Don't look at me. I haven't had my body to myself in a long time, it feels like, right? Well, that's what getting touched out is. But in this case, I feel like this is a thing where this is kind of a companion. Or maybe it is a young child and you just really have that strong and close relationship. Okay, you might be like a family that hugs a lot, maybe, sits and cuddles on the couch watching TV or whatever it is. But I think you think about these moments and you think, how beautiful, how wonderful, and how grateful you are for them. Okay, now I want to keep going this way. And it looks like we have somebody who is coming around. Wow, we have the alchemical furnace. Right here, we have the furnace. which if you think of the furnace, I like to relate it to the idea of the wands. Well, and even like the Queen of Wands, right? We know she's fortified in the flames. She's been through some things. Here comes TT. She heard me talking about her. She's fine. I know sometimes when you guys hear her, you say, hey, is your cat okay? Yeah, she's fine. When she hears us in our studios, shout out to my husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. His name is Paul. He's amazing. Go check out his channel. Our studios are right next to each other in the basement, and the cats, yeah, they hear us. They come running across the house, come downstairs, and meow. Don't worry. They are not being neglected or ignored. There are other people in the house right now. My daughter and my husband are upstairs playing and having a good time, so they're okay. The cats are fine. But yeah, they don't like closed doors. But we do have, yes, so we have the alchemical furnace right here. And if you could see, it kind of almost looks like an oven or like an old wood stove. You can see the smoke coming out of the top. You have a person standing kind of right in here, the head. They're holding something here. Almost kind of looks like we have Anubis as well, a dog-headed person. Now, over here, I am seeing two things. One, we have a person, here would be the head, here's their hand kind of up, they're wearing maybe like a skirt or a dress or a robe or something like this, and in their hand they have a cake, and you can see there's a candle and their smoke, flames, you know, whatever. Now when we turn it this way, this becomes the face, okay, and you can see the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, and here's the body. Still the hand right here. Almost kind of reminds me of a claw, like a like you would see on a crab. And looks like they're holding a person right here, a small child maybe, or a person. It looks like the person is in prayer. Okay, you can see kind of on the knees and praying. So I'm looking at both of these, and the cake kind of does relate to the furnace or the stove, right? But basically, I feel like you have been through kind of a spiritual transmutation. Whatever life you had back in the day, right? Probably in your youth, maybe not childhood, but yeah, you know, your late teens, 20s, maybe even 30s. This is a life that, well, it was an old chapter, right? Like, you might look back and think, I don't even know who that person was. I don't even remember what I felt like back then. I don't even remember what life was like, you know? And yeah, I think you went through a lot of ordeals. I don't think it was easy. I think a lot of things happened that, you know, maybe were outside circumstances, out of your control. But I also believe that at times you maybe were doing things that kind of were self-sabotaging, causing problems for yourself. You know, maybe just kind of dropping the ball when it came to your goals and your aspirations and this kind of thing. But I do think that through this period of time, you had become, or you did become, quite fortified, right? I feel like, you know, a lot of times we go through all these things. They can be very traumatic. It can be very trying. You know, we can really kind of develop all kinds of complexes and beliefs about the world and life and so on that are pretty detrimental, because they are. It's a reaction that we indulge because it makes us feel safe. So for instance, if something happened, you know, maybe you were, stolen from, for instance, and you really, I mean, that's a very traumatizing, scary thing. But then, you know, as a reaction, you kind of buy into this idea that the world is a bad and dangerous place, that there's always scary stuff going on. You can't trust your neighbors. You can't trust the people at work. You can't trust anybody, right? You have no idea who is out to get you or who has the ability to do these terrible kinds of things. And so your life becomes limited because you adopt this idea that you have to keep everybody away because you don't want to let people close to you. You don't know what they'll do, right? And it makes you feel safe because you have control over who you spend time with, who you let into your personal life, which, by the way, you should. You should definitely be choosy about who you let close to you. I think sometimes, you know, it can get to a point where we start to create all these rules and these, things about why we can't be involved with different kinds of people or situations or communities or, whatever it is. And those limitations, they do create a lot of stress in our life. But I think for you, you have been fortified. You've become more brave, more willing to, push the limits, to explore. I feel like you have derived a lot of power from surviving your circumstances and come into a new part of your life where, you're doing pretty dang well, or at least you're on the road to, right? You are creating the life that you want for yourself. I feel like you probably have a partner or at least a good friend, somebody close to you. They might have a birthday coming up soon because it does feel like some kind of celebration with the cake and the candle. I also think that this person is maybe somebody who has really helped you kind of get through some of this earlier stuff, right? Now, they can't fix you. Nobody can fix us. Nobody comes into our lives and saves us from ourselves, right? But I think that this is a person who maybe has been really supportive and continued to engage with you and helping you figure out, like we used the example before, something goes wrong in your life. You push everybody away. You don't want to let anybody new in because you don't trust anybody. But then you meet somebody and you slowly get to a place of letting them in. This becomes your partner, your spouse, your best friend, whoever, right? And through this union, this relationship, this trust, which is a rarity for you, they might help you get moving towards some kind of processing, healing, self-development, a holistic lifestyle. Whatever that looks like to you. I am not going to endorse any kind of, certain thing because for each of us, it is very different. What is holistic? What will add to our lives, right? It is a very individual process. And so this particular person, I think you just you speak each other's language, right? You understand each other. And I think that, you do trust them. And so we see maybe a birthday coming up, right? And I could see you being really excited and devoted to wanting to make this very special for them, to make them happy, and I think that's ultimately what I'm seeing here is there's this desire to, give a little bit back. Like you feel like they have been such a light in my life. They've brought so much to my world, right? And I've grown immensely in this time that we have known one another. If it's, 3 months or 33 years, it doesn't matter. But I do also feel like in this next period of time into the movement of the new year, there is a renewal in faith, a renewal in spiritual work, a renewal in the creative sectors of your being, okay? And I feel like, both of you are working together, and this seems to be, I really feel like this is I keep feeling like above everything else, this is a friendship. Below that, a deep partnership. And below that, maybe romantic. It might still be platonic, but I feel like there is a fondness, a belovedness it transcends this lifetime. You have reincarnated with this person many, many times. And you will always be tied to one another. And, I think for you, that's all you need. What happens, what the fine details might be, of course, you're going to live your life however you see fit. But ultimately, it's these larger concepts, these larger movements of love and union and success and fortune and the ability to build a life together. And I think that's really what it is. I see you being like two pieces of metal that have been smelded into, I think that's the right word. I don't know. I always kind of mix up these. When it comes to particular jargon, or just any words, really. If you've been here at my channel long enough, I misuse words, I mispronounce words, I make up words. I'm really good at conjuncting words together or compounding them. I don't know. Even that, I don't know. Putting them together. And you just kind of got to go with me because I'm no scholar. But yes, I do. I see you being like two pieces of just tough, strong, unbreakable being formed in together, very much from the same source, very kindred, and everlong. And that's what I really feel. This is about how long and how deep this goes. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to switch to the other side. I just want to see if we have any words or letters here. So this one looks like, E-D. E-D, Ed, possibly. And then up here, well, it almost also looks like W right here, E, and a D. Wed, possibly. We also have a large swan right here. We have a swan. We have a person who is kind of in a tangle with a Taurus or a bull as well up here. So the swan, beautiful but vicious. That's what I always think of the swan. Beautiful but vicious. Which, listen, is that a Leo or what? Not to say that you're all vicious all the time, but man, if you cross a Leo, you better watch out, right? Because a Leo, listen, isn't going to do like that sneaky, cloak and dagger, like you don't see it coming. A Leo is just going to snap off and do the dang thing. A Leo is going to make sure you don't have to wait for closure. You're going to make sure this is finished right here or right now. So that reminds me of the swan, because you do it elegantly. And if you've ever been around any of these lake birds, like the geese, I love the geese. They're so mean. And we get so many of them at our house. We have a lake. We live next to a lake. And I'm a little over 5 feet tall. And these geese know I'm scared. They know that I'm scared. They know that they're almost taller than me. They know if they get their little wings out and they start running at me, And the turkeys, the wild turkeys, don't get me started. They are the same height as me. Especially the males when they have all their plumage out and stuff. Oh no, get out of here. But even the swans can be pretty ornery, that's for sure. So but then we also have this person kind of in a tangle with the Taurus, and I'm interested. We're gonna look here, and then I'm gonna take a look at the the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. We're gonna do some clarifying cards. Now we have a person standing here, you can see, and it looks like they're holding a bird, and we have another person right here. Now if you can see, here's the head, here's kind of the upper torso, lower part of the body, here's the arm, this is the bird. Now we also have a person standing here, this would be the head, these are the arms, here's the body. They have some kind of sphere or circular thing. And we have some birds over here. Okay, so the birds represent messages, right? They are the bringer of messages. And I feel like with this Taurus person, there is a deep message in this for you. And I feel like we have HU. Who? HU. Now, HU. I know I'm thinking, I have one of the Eckankar's holy books, and actually the Eckankar have, where I live, in the general area of the Midwest, there is there's actually quite a presence of Eckankar. If you've never heard of the Eckankar, I don't know a ton about them, to be honest with you. I used to live with somebody who had some interest and involvement. But I know that HU is a frequency, and I think has to do with like kind of the light body, if I remember right. But it is a mantra, something to be chanted. And it is the key to soul enlightenment. So this little clip says. Now, I don't know that that's true. I'm not affiliated with the Eckankar at all. Let me just be clear with that. I'm not affiliated with anybody. I'm not that cool. I'm not clicked up with nobody except for my husband. Again, Dove and Serpent Tarot. And even him. No, I'm kidding. No, but yeah, the HU, whenever I see it, I think of this group. And it's a spiritual movement. And I think, they live communally. But I also know that they are international. But they are based in this upper Midwest area. So I see that, and immediately I'm thinking maybe not related to them directly, but it does feel like a vibration of light. Okay. Now, we have the Taurus person, and it feels very much like, yeah, you've had some problems maybe, but I feel like, the universe or maybe somebody coming through. Maybe this is a family member, a mother, a grandmother, father, grandfather, somebody coming through, that this thing needs to be resolved, because I think things have just gotten a little bit off course. And I feel like this is within the family, the extended family, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do about 3 to 6 of these ones, and we'll see what clarity they bring, because they usually do. Oops, this one really wanted to come out there. Okay, so we have decision, manipulation, and seduction. Okay. So, let's see. Vision. Vision. I love this one. Look at that cat. Look at its eyes. He's like, he looks so tripped out. I love that guy. He's like, oh my gosh, did you see that? Okay, here we go. Status. Okay. Okay. And empathy. Okay. So I feel like, yeah, there's a Taurus. And isn't this a Taurus? Listen, I was married to a Taurus years ago. We met when I was young. I was like 18. And anyways, he passed away very young from a heart issue. And that's how we parted ways, unfortunately. But I have great love for Taurus people. Let me just tell you that. And but that being said, seduction and manipulation, these are like the #1 tools of not all Taurus people, but some, right? And it doesn't have to be seduction as in the carnal, right? This could be like just really kind of good at charming, talking you into, going along with their idea or their understanding of things. Yes. Okay. So we have that. Now, I also feel like for you, there has been a need or a want or a desire for status. Now, you're a Leo, that makes sense. Okay, nothing wrong with it. I mean, you have ambition, right? And at the same time, you have great vision, intuition. I think that you actually have visions. You are in tune with your psyche, with the universe, and you probably do. You have moments where, like even just little scenarios playing out in your mind, right? But this could also be like dreams, visitations, encounters, whatever it is. Now, you're also very empathetic. You're probably also an empath. So being around somebody who's constantly operating off of, manipulation, sweet words, love bombing, just really trying to finesse you constantly, you having to really kind of internalize that energy, so toxic for you. It's like, I feel like on paper, this person and you, perfect. Great friends, great lovers, great relationship. But it's almost like when you're around them too much, you start to get physically ill. And maybe even emotionally, right? Like it's like an oppressive melancholy, right? You don't know why. Why do I feel like this? Why do I feel drained? Why do I feel so tired all the time? This kind of thing. And I think it's because you are taking in that energy. It's like they're operating off of trickery, desperation, always kind of angling, that kind of thing. Now, again, this is not all Tauruses, but I do feel like this is a particular Taurus, right? And they just happen to have all of those negative traits on 100, right? So I feel like there's a big decision here for you, okay? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like if this is family, you know, the parent or the co-parent of your children, a good friend, you know, a spouse even, a decision has to be made for your greater good. And I think you already know the answer. It's about putting it into play. And that's where we're kind of stuck, I think. But that's also why we have the Hanged Man card, right? Because sometimes we have to decide to walk away, you know. Sometimes we have family members, we have beloved ones, we have lovers and friends and hey, even spouses that you want. Every part of you wants this to be well and to work out. And there's just something about this life cycle that you cannot get on the same page. And it manifests in your mind, body, spirit. And it gets to be too much, you know, and that's the big heartbreak of life. It really does. I think it happens to a lot of us. You know, and so not any real great advice besides you have to choose what's best for you, right? Okay, let's do our 3 lucky numbers. 73, number 73, 31, number 31, 73, 31, 65, 73, no, yes. I forgot what the first numbers are. I'm sorry. I always do. I'm so bad with numbers. I keep saying I'm going to start writing them down. I don't, and I haven't, but I should. All right, so we're going to use our Mary Magdalene Oracle cards. These are from Megan Watterson. And they're beautiful. I love these cards so much. So we're just going to kind of use these to punctuate our reading. The red. Good recognizes good. Yes. And this is why I believe so deeply in chosen family. This life cycle has truly taught me that. Now, you can choose your blood family or members of your blood family, and that is your chosen family. But often, if you're like myself, you have to kind of make your own family as you go. I lost my parents when I was a child. I was young. And over the years, I became estranged from people in my family, my blood families. And, you know, and that's been very sad in a lot of ways. But at the same time, I've had a lot of moms. I've had a few dads, you know, and they have been wonderful. My acquired parents have been everything to me. And I feel so lucky, you know, every day. And I know I've shared here before my acquired mother, as I call her. She was actually my first husband's mother. But I've known her for over 20 years. And, you know, as a child when I met her, basically, I was 19 years old. And I've grown up all these years later, grown up, you know, close to her. And she is going through Alzheimer's right now, and so we've all kind of rallied around her and spend as much time as we can with them. And it's, you know, it's hard, but when we choose our family and we are chosen as family, that bond is very special. And we are drawn to those. They don't always have to be like us, right? My chosen family is nothing like myself. They grew up dairy farmers, you know, grew up on farms and out in the middle of nowhere, basically. And we're very different, but we love each other so deeply. And I know I talk about chosen family a lot in this channel because I know there's a lot of you out here that have stories like myself. A lot of you who have, you know, gotten older, and a lot of people you grew up with, your family, your friends, your community. It's changed over time, and you know, people have transitioned, and you might feel alone in the world, but there are lots of people out here looking for connections and companionship, and to just be you know, with each other. Sit and have a cup of coffee at McDonald's. I know in the morning here in the Midwest, if you go to like any McDonald's or even the grocery stores here, a lot of them have little cafeteria areas so people can sit and have coffee. And if you go before 9 o'clock in the morning, you will see these huge groups of retired people just hanging out, chilling, you know, being with each other. And I find that very endearing, right? And so anyways, you know, if you are somebody who feels like you need more people in your life, get out there. Go do some stuff. Go to the community center. Go play some bingo. You know, join a pickleball league. I know. I keep talking about pickleball league on here. I don't know what it is. I think it's like tennis, but it's super popular here. And I was just at a plant sale the other day, actually, for houseplants, and it was from like a local group that are trying to get money together to build a pickleball court. And so to me, I'm like, oh yeah, well, that's what everybody's doing these days, I guess. You know, so maybe a good place to look. Anyways, Leo, I'm not going to hold you here any longer. I appreciate you spending this time with me. It is a great honor for me. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And also, if you want to leave a comment, yeah, definitely do it. I read them all. They mean a lot to me. Definitely they do. And yeah, and with that, again, I'll say I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk real soon. Good night, good night, good night.